Now let's talk about resolutions that we promised from the very beginning. What are the resolutions? Let's say we have a launch with the failing tests. You can see that this currently unresolved test results section, which contains all the failed tests from our launch. So the resolution is the processing of these failed tests and ensuring that the failed test is not only stated at the failed test, but we did perform some actions on this failed test. There are several types of resolutions in Allure TestOps, and we already saw one of them. So first resolution is rerun. So we need to perform some action, and if a test is green, if it's passed successfully, then this test is considered as resolved. So if we search here for resolved tests, you can see all the green tests are currently resolved. Now, if we search and filter out the tests without resolution, then what we can do with these particular tests, we can request the system to rerun it, and this will be resolution number 1 for us. So we admit that there is some failures in our tests, and we perform some actions. First, my first thought is that probably failing tests are caused by the infrastructure, as we saw before, for example, related to particular problems in Chrome cluster, and we tried to rerun test and it was successful, so we did the first resolution that was rerun for us, and test became green and test became resolved. So at the moment the tests are still being executed. Now the execution has become completed. If we go inside launches, we can see it's still one test case is failing. That was rerun for the test. One test was rerun successfully, so it was fixed by the rerun. Let's say the infrastructure had some lags, some hiccups, and test got fixed. But the second one is really failed, and probably there is some other reason related to that. Let's say there is huge, very severe infrastructure problem related to the Chrome cluster, which is not possible to fix right now, and this test will be always failing for us. The second resolution for us, and it's still unresolved, let's say without resolution, this test case is not resolved at the moment, but the first one is resolved, and the list of unresolved test cases is now just contains one test case that we currently see on our screen. Now, what we can do with the constantly failing tests, we can move this test to quarantine, and the test cases won't affect our statistics. This test case won't be shown to us in this section, and these test cases won't be shown us here. So if we have some test cases that are failing with a particular reason, and we're 100% sure that these cases will be failing, we can move it to quarantine. In our terms, it's a mute. So mute this test, exclude it from test results from the statistics, press mute, say that Chrome is down, the Chrome cluster is down. I'm pretty sure about it, and I'm pretty sure that it won't be fixed soon. We have task for that in our Jira, so someone from infrastructure must to fix it, and I'm saying my system that Jira server AD 14 is reliable, well, not reliable, but responsible for that, is down, and I'm muting this test. Now we can see that it's currently unmute button. If we go inside our test results, you can see that there is no failing tests, but this test still in the list of the test results. But if we try to find something without resolution, there is nothing. So the test now is resolved. So this was second resolution that is available in Allure TestOps. So if we go inside the overview section, you can see that unresolved test results section is empty, which means that we do not need to analyze any tests in this particular launch. And we can close the launch. And if we go inside particular tests, you can see that there is a mute section, and we can see that's currently mute assigned to this particular launch. So if we receive this mute, or well, remove this mute from this particular test case, then it will be considered as a test result, as a valid test result. Again, in consecutive launches, we will be able to see the test results. I'm removing the mute because I need to show additional resolution types, and this resolution type is a defect. So build again, and hope we will have some failures in our tests, just to show the last type of the resolution that we have in our system. Now test results are being generated, and we waiting for the failing tests. Now, cool, we have 3 failures now. Go inside this particular launch, and we can see in unresolved test result there are 3 test cases that needs to be analyzed, and we need to understand what happened, and we need to perform some actions. So stating that test result, the test is failing, is not enough for us, because it's useless information, because we need to fix either tests or we need to fix our product. So we go inside the tree, select all the test cases without resolution, test results without resolution, and we need to assign some defects to that. So I see that the WebDriver exception, Chrome is not reachable. Let's say I know what caused this particular problem, and I'm linking the defect. The defect will be related to the infrastructure. So I'm clearly saying that it's infra, and Chrome cluster is down. We need to create a defect, and now I want all similar errors to be linked to this particular defect, so we don't need to analyze this test again and again. And this information will be used in our automation rules. So WebDriver exception, Chrome is not reachable. I say that I'm using this particular message to link everything to the same defect, and I'm using this message to link all the defects, all the test cases with a similar failure, with the same similar error message, to the same defect. Now we can see that there's 2 test cases linked to this particular failure. Link the defect, go back to overview section, and we can see that we added 1 defect but already analyzed 2 test results, which means that we will spend 30% less time on analyzing the next failures. Now, without resolution, now it's 3 failures. We created 1 defect, and now we need to analyze just 1. Now, element is not found by XPath something, so something is wrong, but definitely wrong. Say something is wrong. We created this defect, and then we create the automation rule, and we use this particular message to link similar errors to this defect. Message, and then creating regular expression to link all of them. The simpler the better. View matched result, yes, it's working, and then link the defect. Now, if we go back to our overview section, now it's unresolved test results empty, and we have 2 defects. And if we go back to launches, then we have 2 new defects introduced here. Now closing the launch and executing our pipeline again. Now you can see that there is 2 failing tests with 1 defect. When we have plus here, then we introduce two new defects. If we can see only the number, then this means that there is at least one test case linked to this defect that we already created. Let's go inside this particular launch, and we can see that currently this defect again works for us, and this is a new failure that we need to analyze. From the two test cases that we currently failing in our launch, we need to analyze only 50%, so we're saving 50% of time, and we need to create some action on that again. So element should have text, some issue title here, Allure example, and we'll use the same information from our error message. Issue title, let's say ads widget is not present on the page. Creating the defect and using some error message for creating of the automation rule. Based on this message, and then creating the regular expression, remove this information, then here the example, view matched results, so our regular expression is working again. So we created defect. In our overview section, we can see that there is no unresolved test results, which means that we analyzed everything. We are certain that we understand the cause of the failure, and we did some actions. And what are the actions for us? Actions are that we created the defects, and these defects could be linked to a particular issue. For example, here, link issue, cluster, no, AD14, Chrome cluster is not reachable, link the issue, and based on this, we will be able to understand that if the issue is closed, then our particular defect can be closed as well. So we use webhook feature on Jira side. When this particular issue becomes either selected for development, for example, let's see this example, you can see here that the status is currently updated, so we'll currently synchronizing the life cycle of Jira issue with life cycle of the defect, and if this particular issue or task becomes resolved or done, like in this case, then automatically defect will be closed on the Allure TestOps side. It will become done as well based on the life cycle of the task from Jira side. From this moment on, the test cases won't be linked to this particular defect. So if we meet the same error again related to the WebDriver exception, Chrome is not reachable, then we need to analyze the issues again, either reopen this defect or create a new one and create another task for people from infrastructure side in order to fix this particular issue. And then going to the backlog again, and this defect becomes active again. So if we generate some additional test results with failure, we'll see how much time we can save on analyzing these failures. Let's wait for that. So you can see we saw existing defect and introduced another one, and let's see what we can expect from the next launch. So you can see we have two failures and two defects related to these failures, linked to these failures. So if we go inside, we can see that there is no unresolved test results, which means everything that we created before is currently analyzed, and based on the rules that we create for the defects, we linked these failures to the defects, and we don't need to analyze anything in this particular launch. So everything that we done before is used to trash all the errors and we saved a lot of time on analysis. We don't need to go inside the test. We don't need to analyze the stack traces or error messages. Everything is done by the system, automatically linked the failures to the defects, and there is no unresolved test results. So these are available resolution types. The first one is rerun. The second one is mute, which allows us to ignore some failures. If we know that these particular test cases, these errors will appear again and again, so we can exclude it, mute these test cases. And the third one is defects. Defects is the confirmation from our side that first of all we analyzed the test result, the failure, we understood it, and we performed some actions based on this failure analysis. We linked our failure to a task in Jira, for example, and we are certain that this action item is created, and this action item will be processed by a responsible person, that be either testing engineer, or that will be probably development engineer or someone from infrastructure side. So how resolution is performed on Allure TestOps side.